Gdje mi je curić? Dobar dan svima. Hello to everyone. On behalf of Dubrovnik Development Agency Dura, I wish you a warm welcome to our today's final event of the APPRODI PLUS project. My name is Kristina Vujanovic, and today I will be your moderator for this event. The event will last approximately 2 hours. It's a hybrid event, so we have our participants as well online. So in total, we will hear 5 very interesting presentations, and the event will be concluded with a very interesting tour to the city of Dubrovnik, to the breakwater Kaše. So before we start, I would kindly ask for Ms. Luna Polić-Barović, the Senior Advisor in Dura, to give you a short welcome speech and to make a short introduction to our today's topic. Luna.
Thank you, Kristina. My name is Luna Polić-Barović. I would like to welcome you in front of the Dubrovnik Development Agency, Dura. I would like to welcome our partners from Greece and from Albania, and our partners who are attending online from Italy. We are very pleased to be able to host this event in Dubrovnik, and we chose this venue of Lazareti because of its proximity to the ancient harbor, and because we'll have the tour afterwards of the harbor and the old town. In the first project that Dura was a partner on, in the APPRODI project, which was financed through the Adrian Interreg program, Dura was able to finance geoarchaeological findings of the breakwater Kaše. And this was very valuable to us, and we were able to use it in the context of valorizing cultural heritage. So the whole APPRODI project is really trying to valorize the cultural heritage in a modern way. Since the project was successfully implemented from 2018 to 2019, there was an opportunity to capitalize on the project, so we applied for the APPRODI PLUS project, and now we are able to see how COVID was affecting tourism, and without going into any more detail, I will let the partners explain the APPRODI PLUS project. And yeah, I hope you have an enjoyable morning, and please do join us for the tour afterwards. Thank you.
Thank you, Luna. So we can start now with our first presentation. I would kindly ask for Mr. Emilio Cocco from University of Teramo in Italy, who will join us online and is ready to do his presentation. So, Emilio.
Hello, everybody. Hope you can hear me. And good morning. I'm very sorry not to be there with you. Unfortunately, I was prevented to come from an unexpected event. And I'm here to represent the lead partner, University of Teramo. Actually, I'm here on behalf of the project coordinator, who's my colleague, Professor Nico Bortoletto. Myself, Professor Emilio Cocco. I'm the deputy coordinator of the project. And it's a pleasure to discuss here with you and to introduce the main points of the project APPRODI PLUS, which is, as you know, an extension and improvement of an already financed and implemented project named APPRODI. So the APPRODI PLUS, the overall objective was to enhance and enlarge, the strategy that we already set down for APPRODI. That is to say, put together the idea of an ecotourist destination and the archaeology, so the cultural heritage, which are two things that not very often go in common, go together. Usually tourists and people interested in archaeology and cultural heritage are not necessarily attracted to ecology and ecotourism destination. And the other way around, people are looking for nature, not necessarily looking for archaeology too. But the Adriatic Basin is, as a matter of fact, a very rich place when it comes to both nature and archaeology. And so I would say that the main aim and the original aspect of the project was to try to combine these two things within a context of a narrative of historical exchange and mobility, both in terms of people, culture, ideas that are like crossing the Adriatic Sea in one way or in another. Now going more into details about what is the approach of APPRODI PLUS, so that the presentations that we're going to hear in a while, they're going to make sense, within this context that I'm going to briefly sketch out. It's the multimodal integration of several innovative approaches, basically three. We stress the importance of virtualization. Digital technologies are important for tourism, but they are of uttermost importance, especially now that in the pandemic times and after pandemic times, we cannot think or plan any sort of tourism without considering the impact of pandemic. And we introduced and we tried to integrate this consideration within a strategy of scenario maps creation. And that will give more reliable details and information about logistical access to places, even in terms of healthcare and formal requirements. So we all know, based on everybody's experience over the last 2 years, that formalities are becoming important when coming to tourism, even within the EU. And the healthcare, it's an issue that cannot be disregarded. So mapping and creating some sort of reliable conditions for tourism, it goes very much with the improvement of virtualization and digital technology. So basically apps or websites that are like friendly use. Connected to that is the second dimension that we integrate is the one of AI, artificial intelligence. So very strictly connected with digital technology. The idea that, especially to new forms of local development linked to tourism, artificial intelligence can be an important asset when it comes to the seasonaling tourism. So like improving accessibility, improving information about all sort of aspects, creating networks between stakeholders. And so that's another issue that we introduced in the APPRODI Plus. And finally, intersectorization. So the idea that new form of tourism planning are kind of attached and integrated more accurately with other innovative sectors that are also part of the user strategy. So utilities, services, but also food, for instance, or agriculture, and generally speaking, the recreation and leisure industry. So tourism cannot be like something that stays alone, like up in the air, but has to be integrated into a more like a structured economic scenario where more things are like combined together to establish some sort of territorial asset that is positive and like winning in terms of strategies. Now going and towards the end of my short presentation, I'd like to stress more the activities that we planned and are pretty much still like in the making, although we already had like some consistent results, and but we're waiting for some data to be finally included. The first one is a sort of improvement of the already signed memorandum of understanding between the harbors of the Adriatic. So the memorandum of understanding was a goal of the first APPRODI project, and in the APPRODI Plus, we developed further the inputs through a survey on the pandemic and the effects of tourism on tourism of the pandemic. So we distributed the survey and we sort of collected data that could be used for the networks of harbors in terms of like setting and adapting their tourist offer, their activities to the new change scenario for the pandemic. Secondly, going to the digital technology, and to some extent also AI, the interactive map of the Adriatic historical harbors was the second goal that we set as an action. So the idea of making a map that is already established and working through the support of Google Maps or other like digital mapping technologies that are used in combination with the meetings and workshops organization in the historical harbors to stress the potentialities of tourism in the place, and so like putting together a combination of like virtual and say so-called like real life activities. So the impact of COVID-19 on tourism and the possible solutions are kind of mapped and put in a sort of like visual interactive tool, so that the Adriatic and the networking between the harbor will take also this like virtual but very material aspect to combine and to interact with. Finally, the third aspect of APPRODI Plus that we stressed is the improvement of a perception of historical harbors as cultural and economic assets of the territory. So in this sense, we encourage the organization of public events among all the partners, such as talking about like Teramo University, University of Venice, and Dubrovnik, and Corfu, and our Albanian partners as the extra European Union partners. Public events that are addressed to small, medium enterprises, local authorities, with involvement of universities, interest experts, and that would be a way to enhance the audience for tourism, and so improving the whole tourism chain of production by combining and interacting positively all the people that are let's say working as stakeholders in the tourism industry. And following the same philosophy of combining virtual and real life aspects of promotion, we also set a number of online training module, and which is like training courses provided by experts, and they are available also in terms of like streaming lessons and quiz, the verification model for the public administrations and the operators of tourist development in the historical harbors. And these are also activities that are basically available in the website, and so you can check, like you go to the APPRODI EU course e-learning course example, you can check, like the lectures and the training online that we already set. And in terms of public events, so you find reports of things already organized, like in Dubrovnik, like Durrës or Corfu, and also the survey at like basically in the making, the way of processing it. So I think that generally speaking, the project was a very interesting development of an already established like set of actions, which is the one that we did in the APPRODI. And interestingly, brought together aspects connected with a more long-term strategy of tourism development, and other aspects that are, let's say, more contingent, because depending on the pandemic times and these new conditions that's been like created by these new variables introduced into the scenarios. So that was pretty much the major like fundamental guidelines for the project, and I really like to thank all the partners for their engagement and their willingness to take part, and what they produced, and the ability to interact, and was very good partnership and cooperation, like already going on from like a number of years. And so again, I'd like to say hello to all of you, bringing my salutations from my side, and Professor Bortoletto, and also Annalisa Pazzini. She's also did a great job like helping us. And so have a great day in Dubrovnik, and just sorry not to be with you today there. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Emilio. That was our lead partner. And our next presentation is, let's say, more local. Mr. Ivan Saltaric, on behalf of Dura, will tell us about the experiences of APPRODI PLUS project in the city of Dubrovnik.
Hello everyone, nice to see you out there. Let me just load my presentation and we will begin shortly. So my name is Ivan Saltaric. I'm the project manager for the APPRODI PLUS project for Dura Development Agency. So I'm glad to see you all here participating. Of course, we are missing few people. Some of them got stuck in the traffic, some of them got stuck at the airport, but what can you do? That's life. So my agenda for today is to speak about the first APPRODI project that happened back in 2017 and 19. I'm gonna tell you something about our pilot case, which is an extremely interesting thing that we did with the geological examination of water break Kashem. Then I'm gonna tell you something about the transition to APPRODI Plus, the extension of the project, and we're gonna conclude that all. So first APPRODI project happened in 2017-18 under its full name, From Ancient Maritime Routes to Ecotouristic Destinations. It comes from the Interreg VB Transnational Adjunct Program that was from the area of 2014-2020. The program priority is the sustainable region. Partners are from the Adriatic Union, which means the Greece, Italy, Croatian, Albanian partners. And the project original plan was to have it 24 months, but actually got extended by another 6 months or so. So with the first APPRODI project, we have the lead partner from University of Teramo. And we have the Croatian partners, University of Zadar, we have Dura, of course. We had the city of Torna, University of Venice, city of Dures, Union University in Greece, and of course, the city of Corfu. So the project objective, as stated in our application form, states that main objective is to promote and valorize cultural heritage in the Adrian area. What this means is that our research partners and our project partners from academia took time to examine all the historic records and they found these specific old harbors in the Adriatic Union region that had some past service and past important factors in historic times, and they wanted to promote them. They wanted to do examination and research on them to see what's the status of them. Are they too much damaged? Are they still there? And what can we do to improve upon them? So the project gathered 5 pilot sites. And of course, one was in Dubrovnik, which I'll tell you something about. In any case, you don't know something about our project. Our idea was to make pilot project in Dubrovnik waterfront Kashem. So our idea was to examine it, doing some archival research, to go underwater and see the state of the rocks and the state of the whole general waterfront Kashem. And of course, to do examination on geological and geophysical research. So let me see. Oh, you can see it. So this is the waterfront Kashe. It's in front of the Dubrovnik Old Port. As you can see, it's pretty much bruised and beaten. It's almost 500 years old, if I'm not mistaken. And of course, you can see that time took upon this hero, as our Dr. Čuktaraš said in our one video. So in order to do this, we actually gathered some extremely interesting and powerful companies that actually have the experience to do maritime research underwater and above water. Of course, we hired the Maritime Heritage Arsenautica company. They actually did the whole research on the academic research on the topic. And of course, we had the University of Zadar. They actually help us with the academic research as well. We had Croatian Geological Institute with us, and companies such as Geomar and Foca, of course. So what they did, I like to show you a lot of pictures because I think it's extremely interesting research, and the whole project idea is extremely interesting. So on the left picture, you can see the support boat or tugboat, I'm not sure how they're called officially. They had to unload a lot of equipment, and on the right side you see the drill. They actually went through these rocks and took some examples of sediment and different types of materials to test the aging, to test the situation for the academia. And another picture, you can see how they arrange those samples and prepare them for additional testing. Okay, so what did they found? That cache was built on what was previously known 6 layers of rocks. And after they cleared some of the seabed and some of the sea life, they discovered that there's an actually extra 2 layers, which was extremely interesting because that wasn't found in any academic research or haven't been mentioned before. It's much easier if I can show you like this. So on the left, you can see them using these pumps and these machines to clear the area. So on the right picture, you can see we thought there was 6 layers, and they found extra 2 layers. So it just makes pretty interesting to see this and to see that there's an additional structures hidden beneath some of the rocks that are piled up before the breakwater cache. So we now know that the structure originally has been much wider, longer, and it has been fortified with additional layers. So which makes it extremely interesting. As they stated, that Cache waterfront represents one of the most important monuments in the Republic of Dubrovnik. It's almost 500 years old. It's been there through a lot, and this will certainly serve us as we have 500 pages academic document which states everything that they found in the research, and we can use that for sure to build upon that and to make preservation of that monument. We can even try to restore it, and it will certainly be useful for us and for the future generations. And of course, within the project, we had the memorandum of understanding. I will tell you something about that later, which we gathered additional harbors in the Adriatic Ionian region and made this kind of interactive map which shows this on a larger scale. So what did we next? After the APPRODI project, we had some issue, of course, with COVID-19. As you all might know, it kind of set us back with the promotional and these type of activities. So the Interreg allowed us to make additional extension of the project under this new acronym APPRODI PLUS. And our specific objective is to promote it, valorize this ancient harbor site. After all, we gathered, information, research we gathered. And of course, we have this new aspect that we are trying to accomplish within the project. We will work on this map of Adriatic Ionian historic ports. We will include new ports. We will make it interactive. We will publish this map on our project website, and we will promote it on a much larger scale. We will sign new additional members within the memorandum of understanding. And of course, we made these specific 3 types of instructional videos with some of our participants from local colleges, tourist guides, and researchers. So if some of you didn't participate in the survey for our memorandum of understanding, I will for sure share it in email. You can participate by just taking 1 minute of your time to fill some information. It will be useful for us to gather this information to make the better memorandum and to include this, let's say, post-COVID situations, because we all know what COVID-19 did to the global economy and to the whole process of research and academia and just the tourism alone. So we developed 3 modules within this APPRODI PLUS project. I'm extremely proud of them. We had some amazing guests and lecturers coming to make them. So these videos are 15 to 17 minutes long. They are instructional, they are interesting, they are here to serve the purpose of introducing these specific topics, as you can see, to the general public, to the students, to everyone interested, especially companies that are within the tourism sector. So our first video was the history of Dubrovnik. We had our local licensed tourist guide explain what are the main attractions in tourism Dubrovnik. She told us something about water break Kaše, and generally she found some new interesting information that even I didn't know as a local about Dubrovnik, which is extremely useful. The second video was from our young colleague Marino Stankovic from University of Dubrovnik. He did an extremely powerful and interesting presentation on the topic of sustainable tourism. This topic is kind of crucial because we all need to work on the sustainability of the tourism, sustainability of the products we have in Dubrovnik, because we need to be here to stay. We need to really focus on the eco-touristic products and make it more safer and green. Marino did an excellent job, and of course he will later on make a small presentation and speech about this same topic, because I thought it was extremely interesting and I would like you all to hear what he has to say. And for the last but not the least video is from Dr. Čukteraš. She had this video before water break Kaše. She explained what is the main historical facts about Kaše, how it got constructed, and she spent a lot of time talking about the research that has been done on this monument, and it was an extremely interesting video. All these videos will be available on our project site. We will definitely promote them on a local and the national level. So it will be published on Dura website, and we will be including all social media to promote this video, because I think they're extremely useful, extremely interesting, and it will certainly be beneficial for future generations to see what we have done, the research on this water break Kaše and more. So what's next for our project? As my colleague Emilio Koch already mentioned, that we need to work on the memorandum of understanding. We will include new ports from Korčula, Lombarda, and a local area, because these ports have been recognized to be as a crucial part of history for the Croatia and Dubrovnik area, and we certainly need to include them in our documents. We will promote this event. As you can see, we are already in a promotional event. We would like you to hear about this research. Of course, I have all the data, all the original documents from the research on water break Kaše. I am welcoming you to ask me about it. I will share with you all the information, and especially because I can see we have here a few people from academia. I'm glad to see them. Thank you for coming. So I'm always open to questions, and I welcome you all to us, and I will share the documents and any information. And of course, teaching modules, we will promote them, and we'll make them available on our website for all future generations to see and learn new things. So I think that's it for now. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ivan. That was quite interesting. So before we make our first little break today, we have Ms. Floreta Kertusha from the municipality of Durrës in Albania today here with us and will give us her presentation named Sustainable Tourism in Durrës, precisely promotion, marketing tools aimed to stimulate new forms of sustainable tourism after the COVID-19 pandemic. The floor is yours.
The presentation is here, I think. I have the flash driver as well. Go down. No, it's not taking. Hi, nice to meet you.
I think we already met before. Demiş.
Okay, here it is.
This is yours.
Yes, Durrës.
Maybe we
If
can.
it's Durrës, it's mine. Okay. Ah, you have put in your slides. Okay.
Yes. Just one moment, please. Some technical difficulties.
Technical stuff.
Yes, yes. Miš nestaje, ja sam ga ovako išao.
Miš ti pobjegne, ja ću dva.
Doslovno zato što nije gore prikazano. Okay.
Good morning. Thank you everyone for your presence here. Thank you Ivan from Dura for your invitation and the organization of this final event. Indeed, we have done a project almost 3 years, but for me it's the first time that I meet almost all of you, because we missed a lot of other meetings, and for me it's a pleasure to be here and to exchange best experiences that we have done together for almost 3 years. So here we are. First of all, I will make a short introduction of Durrës as a touristic destination. Indeed, Durrës is called or is named a capital of tourism in Albania because it is rich with natural resources and cultural heritage, archaeological sites, architectures, museums, and it has a unique history. In Durrës you can find 20 monuments of culture and 12 objects of special interest. This makes our city more and more important, and this is why this city is part of this project as well. Indeed, the tourism is the largest economic sector in our city, and now we have a population of more than 300,000 inhabitants and a coastline of 64 kilometers. The number of visitors is increasing year by year, and the number of visitors now is more than 500,000 visitors per year. We have a total surface of almost 342 kilometers square. If you can see from the picture, here there are some famous areas in the northern part of our city, and I put these pictures because our focus now is to promote or to find new means and new instruments how to promote our touristic destination. Indeed, now we are working a lot to promote natural paths or trails. So here you can see that this is a natural trail, that it is almost 9 kilometers, I mean the length. So now we are going to promote what is natural one. We are going to promote in a, how can I say, eco-friendly manner all these destinations that are located in Durrës. Here you can see another touristic destination, which is the main port located in Durrës. Now this main port will be transformed in a new touristic marina. I will show you later the picture. And now this main port has two main terminals, the terminal for the passenger and the terminal for goods. And we are receiving high numbers of crew passengers year by year. Indeed, only during the pandemic situation, as everywhere in Europe, we had a kind of collapse, I mean, regarding the number of tourists And this is why now we are working a lot to find new ways how to promote what we have, our potential, touristic potential, economic potentials of the city. Now, indeed, in one of the pictures here, you can see a part of the coastline. Indeed, because one of the pilot sites that it has been under local investigation in the APPRODI project is the prehistoric harbor in Durrës. You can see there in the circle. It's not the exact, coordinates because of the protection of cultural heritage. And here is a kind of graphic that shows at the period how this prehistoric harbor has been. But now the main port, as I explained before, is enlarged and it is extended in the other part of the city. And this is the new touristic marine. So with the prehistoric harbor, you cannot see it, it's under the water. And the all archaeological research, underwater archaeological research has been carried out under the sea. And unfortunately, we cannot see this prehistoric harbor that shows the anciency of our city. That is very important for us as historical data to show this element of our identification, cultural identification as a population. Now this is a new touristic marine. You can see that the old port will be transformed, and it's a very ambitious project, and it lasts almost 10 years of investment. But you can see now a new phase and a new port, but the prehistoric port will be in the same position under the water. So we have the prehistoric here and the new touristic marine here. They are connected. We hope in the future we can make a kind of underwater guide that has to be certificated for Ministry of Culture, because in Durrës or in the whole Albania you cannot, tourism underwater is not allowed in order to protect the cultural heritage. Ivan explained better than me the differences between APPRODI and APPRODI Plus. I have put some data with regard to the budget to see the difference and the importance of APPRODI and APPRODI Plus. I mean the budget of Durrës municipality, not the budget of the whole project is in the second line. Indeed, the first APPRODI was very ambitious project, but due to the pandemic situation, we tried to solve the project and we tried to do our best. Indeed, Albania and Durrës, unfortunately, has been struck by a strong earthquake, and this makes for us more difficult the research and more difficult the implementation of the project. But we did it in our way to save this project and the old work that has been done before during the years. This is a picture, the only picture. Hansa, you are here. Hansa is the other member of the project, and to show how we started and how we can make another picture to see the difference where we are now. Here I have put some information with regard to our experience and our work with regard to the implementation of the project APPRODI Plus. You can see, as you might know, one of the main activities is the Memorandum of Understanding, to sign a memorandum. Indeed, until now, unfortunately, I'm trying a lot to find another partner, Port of Lora, but it's a little bit difficult because they don't understand the project. I'm trying to explain what does it mean and what the focus of APPRODI is. It doesn't mean that you have to pay or to finance something. You just have to promote this project and the underwater archaeology, as a whole, tool. But Durrës Port Authority is the main, which is even located in Durrës, and is our main partner to sign this memorandum. And for us, it's very important because it makes sense, as I explained before, the whole chronology of the ports in Duros. Here are some activities per each work package. Now I will show you some picture of the regional event that we have done in Duros in 10th of June. And we have done this regional event in 2 pilot areas, Rila and Rodon Cape. According to the project, it was suggested one of the historical sites, but we have decided to make a full study visit at the 2 archaeological sites. We have done the same thing, the study visit, even in December 2020. We have made even a documentary. It is in the YouTube and our official website, and it's a very good documentary to show the whole work that we have done through this project. And as you might know, each of the regional events has to be recorded, and you can find it later on in the YouTube. What we have done during this regional event, we have presented all archaeological findings through the local investigation that has been done by Adrian Anastas, which is our external expert, which is the only that has the kind of authorization to do this kind of underwater research. You can see here that we have found 31 archaeological findings from one of the pilot sites, Surila Batla, and 57 archaeological findings in the Cape of Rodon, which is the other pilot area of archaeological potential. So in the total, 88 archaeological findings for us are very important because shows different data of historical periods from prehistoric, Hellenistic, Roman period, Byzantine period, medieval period, till the Second World War. So we have the whole history in one project. So this is very important for us. I cannot explain as good as Adrian did because I'm not an expert of underwater archaeology. However, I've put some pictures that show even the treatment of the findings, because if you can find something, there are a lot of procedures that you have to follow in order to give the exact data, the exact materials or other details that are necessary for identification of the exact period. Here, can we click? No internet? There's no internet? Because I have even, I have a short video from Instagram. Okay, later. Here we have put the whole regional, then we have published it in our official website and social media as well. Stuck again. Sorry. No, I mean the slides. I can. Okay. Here are some pictures of regional events. This is the first site, pilot site of archaeological potential. Here is the second pilot site, and this is very famous because here you can find underwater archaeology, but even monuments of cultural heritage. This is a church which is very famous in Albania, and we are lucky that we have it in Duras, in our territory. So you can see that these pilot sites are enriched with history, archaeology, and even underwater archaeology. Our expert has done surveys even in the, in the earth, in the up part, not only in the underwater levels. So we are happy that we have a good, the whole picture and the whole puzzle of the archaeology and history of this pilot site. All these regional events are recorded, as I explained it before. With regard to other activity, which are, as Ivan explained before, we had the opportunity to record 3 modules. And all these recorded modules, they are going to be in YouTube as soon as possible. So all of you are free to share and to listen, and why not to get some lesson learned from these projects. This is the first module. There are some pictures for the first module. We have chosen 2 experts, one historian, Dorian Hatibi, and our external expert, Adriana Anastasi, who is a historian as well. The second module is the module that has been focused in archaeological remains that are archaeological remains of the sites in Durrës that are carried out by the underwater research. Here you can see some pictures that are referring even to the research and some schemes that are useful, some maps, ancient maps, to show the whole idea and the whole importance of our pilot sites. And the third module is the sustainable tourism. Here our expert, you can see even in the last slide, has put some ideas to propose to the Ministry of Culture some touristic guides, underwater guides, touristic guides, in order to show them all the archaeological history of our sites and other areas that are famous in Durrës. We are lucky because the Tsurila Batla now is approved by a law. Now it's officially an area of archaeological potential. So it means that it's a protected area, and we are happy and we are lucky that we have this pilot site that has been a pilot action of this project now is legally, officially archaeological site. And here we have put some other ideas how to pass this bad situation from pandemic, and how to find new solution for sustainable tourism. Even these modules have been recorded. Here in the end, I have a short video that shows us the whole research at our archaeological sites. Has been done in December. No internet? Okay, if not.
No, just a second.
Dubrovnik free. It's okay. Last site.
This one.
Oh yes. Technical stuff.
Yeah,
It's a video.
but it's gonna be up there.
Okay, can you open the screen? Yes, the screen.
Që në janar të vitit 2018, Bashkia Durrës është në fazën e zbatimit të projektit APPRODI. Ky projekt ka si qëllim të promovojë rrugët tregtare dhe njëkohësisht portet antike, duke i kthyer ato në destinacione ekoturistike. Qyteti i Durrësit njihet tashmë që është i pasur me site arkeologjike. Dhe ky projekt, pra projekti APPRODI, vjen se një vlerë e shtuar për qytetin tonë, sepse synon të nxjerrë në pa ato pjesë arkeologjike nënujore të pa investiguar deri në ditët e sotme.
you.
Thank you very much, Floretta, for your presentation and the video, which we all enjoyed very much. So the time has come for our first little break. We will have a coffee break in the next space next to us. It will last 20 minutes, so see you again in 20 minutes. Hello again. Welcome back. I hope you had a nice break, so we can continue with the part 2 of our today's event. Next one is the presentation by Mr. Spiros Vassiliadis, the external expert of Ionian University from Greece. The title of the presentation is The Impact of COVID-19 on the Tourism of Corfu. The survey results, and you will say all the other things. Here you are.
Hello. Thank you very much for the... my name is Spiros Vassiliadis, and I'm an external expert of Ionian University for the project APPRODI PLUS. Of course, I was also external expert for the project APPRODI. Before starting my presentation, I would like to thank Dura for the excellent hospitality, and of course, all of you that you are present here to today's final event. The reason that we decided to present you the results of the survey that we ran in Corfu is just to show you how the pandemic changed the way of thinking of the people that are involved in the tourism sector. I think that the evidence of this survey will be very helpful in order to have some very useful conclusion. Starting with the idea of the survey, the research was conducted in May 2022 via Google Form. It was an online survey. The questionnaire was designed by the lead partner, University of Ortona, and translated, of course, in English in order the participant to be helped in this way. And we had 14 participant stakeholders from Municipality of Central Corfu and the Apodia Islands, who was also partner in the APPRODI project. The we have representatives from Chamber of Corfu, the Corfu Port Authority, and representative of course, from tourism enterprises in Corfu. The questionnaire covered the following topics: the pandemic analysis, the impact of COVID, or the impact of the pandemic, the digitalization, if the digitalization is a solution against the COVID-19 pandemic, and the economic recovery after the COVID-19 impact. Starting with the first question, looking the distribution, of the 14 participants, you can see that the majority of them are coming from two institutions, from the Municipality of Corfu and the Chamber of Corfu, and the rest are coming for the other two sector and institutions that I referred before. How the impact how the impact are these aspects of the cultural tourism of your city? To this question, we can understand from this question we can understand the significance of projects like APPRODI, because from the answer of the participant we can see that history is concerned as very important thing in a tourist destination. Of course, art, architecture, local cuisine, and religion. As you can see, two of these sectors are also promoted from our project, and I mean history and architecture, because history and architecture are two elements that are very high connected. That's why we have to continue in project with this subject. Now, to the second question, which of the following tourist services you can find in your city? As you can see, all the almost all the participants answered that you can find guide services. This is a very common service. I think also if someone also visit Dubrovnik can also find very easy this kind of services. Other services that someone can find in Corfu was outdoor events or sorry, moment to make it a little bit. Okay, or tournament and sport competition. The next question was, which of the following businesses was the most profitable before the pandemic? As you can see, the both most popular answers were related with the tourism. Was the travel agencies and tour operators and hospitality and accommodation. After these two follow the food and restaurants. The next question was, which of the following tourism sector are the most affected by the pandemic? In this question, you would expect it to have the same answer as was to the previous ones, but we have a slight change, and the two most affected tourism sector as the travel agency operation and food and restaurant. As you can see, hospitality and accommodation now is in the third place. How did the flow of tourists change after the COVID-19 outbreak? This happened everywhere, not only in Corfu. The tourist flow decreased by at least, in my opinion, 50%. Probably 50% is a small percent. I think the real one was more, and this was the most popular answer. And the second one was the decrease between 50 and 5%. The next answer was, how did the COVID-19 impact the 2021 revenue streams? Of course, the most popular answer is that the revenue of all the people from tourist sector decreased by 50%. And the second one was, popular answer was decreased between 50 and 5%. Okay, this was logical. I don't think so that was any economic sector that weren't being affected by COVID-19 pandemic. The next one was, during the COVID-19 outbreak, have any of your local business permanent shutdown? As you can see, one of the main consequences is that some businesses that were vulnerable wasn't capable to stand the losses from the pandemic, so they closed down, and of course this is a very unpleasant situation. I hope this period that most of them will recover and will see all the restaurants and hotels open again. Now also it was asked from the participant to say some more exact figure about how many businesses were closed. The most popular question was something between 5 and 15%. From this, always we are referring to the island of Corfu, and especially to the city of Corfu, of course, to this. Now, the next question was, due to the COVID-19 outbreak, did you have to cancel or postpone any infrastructure work or purchase of assets or goods? The answer was yes. Most of them postpone this kind of investment because, as you know, during the last 2 years, almost the whole economic product was freezed. due to pandemic. So Corfu wouldn't be an exception of this. The next question was, during the pandemic, did you have did you have reconsidered your business from a digital perspective? This is a very important question, that it is related to our project, because to the first APPRODI project also we made an effort, and we created some digital tools that promote the whole area that are involved in the project, and also we continue this with the APPRODI Plus. And as you can see from the answer of the participant, the popular one was the yes, with the 74%. And if you did, what digital solution did you adapt? Again, the most popular answer was the marketing, communication, and promotional activities. And of course was other to an online reservation system, because now you can most of the owner of that has hotels or rooms that they are letting, they are trying to avoid the known platforms, because the fee, the commission that they have to pay is a little bit high, and that's why they are trying to develop some online, let's say, mechanisms by their own, in order to save some money for this. And of course, they try to pass these savings that they have from the fee commission to the guests, and this way they have a more competitive price. If you didn't, what was the reason why you didn't make, any action for digitalization? The most popular action, lack of funds. And the second one was lack of time. The following question was, due to COVID-19, have you noticed any change in consumer trends? As it is reasonable, the most popular answer was yes. And if you did, in what type? And it is noticed generally, the answer, that now the people prefers to travel in closer destination, because in that way, how the specialists interpret this behavior, most of the people believe that if goes to a closer destination, feel more secure and more safe, because if something happens, it's easier to go back to the country that are coming from. And in the second position, we have to answer is the lower spending that they noticed after the pandemic, the outbreak of the pandemic. And the other question that is also in the second position was the attention to digital service and availability. As you can see, the digitalization now is coming in the core of the tourism sector. The next question was, when do you think local activities will go back to normal or to an economically sustainable level, considering the type of tourism who takes advantage of the service offered in your city? As you can see, it depends on the category of the tourism, but the period of the time that they believe that the normality will be restored was the 2 months that are always considered as high season. We mean July and August. And of course, the second period is June, that we are now in June, and as you can see also in Dubrovnik, and also from the place that are coming from Corfu, we are full of people, and we are expecting July and August to have more tourists, and I don't know where all this will be accommodated, but it is another issue that it is no matter of discussion in our today event. The next question, what are your main concerns? Please rank them in order of importance. As you can see, the main concern was the infrastructures, that all the participants concerned that this is very important. Also, the economic vulnerability, and another that they considered very important was the impact of the impact on employment. Now we are going to the last two questions, which are which of the following investment do you think can support the economic recovery of your country? As you can see, the most popular, also in this case, answer was the urban decorum, recycling, cleaning beaches, green areas, and roads. As you can see, all the visitor wants to go to a place that the environment are in very good condition. Also taking the opportunity to mention what I heard from the presentation of Loretta and Dures, that also they promote the ecotourism activities. From now on, I think that especially for these concerned tourists that are coming from, as we say, more developed countries, they always pay attention in the environment and how the destination they are going, they are managed all these environmental issues. And the last one, which of the following solutions do you think will benefit the tourists of your country in the long term? To be honest, the most popular answer here was a surprise for me, because the majority of the participants said that conducting a long-term strategy and vision with the local community. Why I am telling this, that it was a surprise for me, because as a consultant to European project, I'm participating in many projects, and most of these projects in tourist sector always have this kind of activity. But when we are asking from the local community and the tourism stakeholder to participate to this kind of procedure and to tell us the opinion, and to gather all these opinions in order to elaborate and to have some conclusion that we are going to base in order to elaborate this strategy, as we can say. Unfortunately, the participation is very low. That's why it was a surprise for me, but at least in Corfu, the people there, that they still believe that if you have a strong strategic vision, this is going to help tourism to be moved in a proper way. Now I have, in the last session, we have gathered together all these recommendations. About the pre-pandemic analysis was cultural tourism is a very important factor for the economy of Corfu. History, art, architecture, and local cuisine and constitute main attraction for tourists and the visitor. The most popular tourist service of Corfu are the guide tours, especially in old towns and museums. And before pandemic, the most profitable business in Corfu were considered hospitality and accommodation and travel agency and tour operators. Now, we are continuing with the main conclusion and recommendation. The main conclusion about the impact of COVID-19 pandemic was the most affected by the pandemic tourist sector in Corfu were food and restaurant, and travel and agencies and tour operators. The other conclusion was the flow of tourism decreased by more than 50% in 2020, of course, where in this year was the heart of the pandemic, and the revenue streams also decreased more than 50%. Additionally, due to COVID-19 outbreak, most of the infrastructure works have to be cancelled or postponed. About the digitalization as a solution against COVID-19 pandemic, most of entrepreneurs had to reconsider their business from a digital perspective. Marketing and communication promotional activities were the most adapted solution in this field, and the lack of funds was the main obstacle for those that didn't adapt any digital solution. And finally, economic recovery after the COVID-19 impact. What do you think might happen once the pandemic ends? The local activities are expected to go back to normal or to an economically sustainable level in July and August 2022. The first sample that we can see now that tourism is going very well. The investments that can support the economic recovery of Corfu are considered the urban decorum, and we mean about recycling, cleaning beaches, green areas and roads. It was the 50% of the answer. The B was the construction works. Of course, all the people want to have infrastructure that can correspond in a high numbers of visitors that our places have. And the last recommendation was the creation of a long-term strategy and vision with the local community is considered as the most beneficial action for tourism, and this answer collected the 92% of the preference of the participants. This from my side. I try to present this as quickly as I can. I hope not to get tired with all these figures and numbers, and I hope also to find all this very, very interesting. Thank you once again for the hospitality.
Thank you, Spiros. So we still have a little bit of time left for any questions, if there are any questions for our project partners here gathered. So if there are no questions, we can move on to our last but not least presentation. It's from Mr. Marino Stankovic from Department of Economy and Tourism from the University of Dubrovnik. As well, Marino is one of the three actors of the APPRODI PLUS educational videos created through this project by Dura, and he will present us the presentation named Sustainable Tourism in Dubrovnik.
Thank you. Gdje mi je preza ovdje? Evo ima. Jel ovo može? Okay, hello everyone. I'm glad and honored to be here and to join with all of you this conference. My name is Marino Stankovic. I'm research assistant at University of Dubrovnik, Department of Economic and Tourism. In next several minutes, we will explain and focus on some terms in sustainable tourism, what COVID-19 pandemic did on tourism in Dubrovnik, plans for recovery, and where is Dubrovnik as tourist destination, where is in terms of sustainable tourism, and what are the new tools for recovery. Sustainable development is to make the world a better place for living and for everyone without destroying any possibilities in the next generation in future. It includes three aspects: social progress, economic development, and environment. All three aspects are interconnected and must work together. We cannot deny one at the expense of the other. And sustainability only achieved on the crossroads of these three aspects. Everything we develop, trade, or buy start with nature. The better systems we create for fair distribution and the smarter we used our natural resources, the more sustainable we are. Therefore, all of us will have equal opportunities then in future for medicine, food, education, safety. Because of that, the necessary activity is to reduce the exploitation of natural resources. For example, create a mechanism that did not spend more than it gives. Tourism as a sector is an economic phenomenon of great potency worldwide. It's a major industry and foreign currency earner because tourism can provide employment, generate tax revenue for public sector, stimulate rural and regional development, diversify local economy, and so on. Every euro, dollar, or kuna spent by tourists circulates in the local economy in series of waves. In terms of sustainable tourism, the aim is to maximize tourist spending, but including the minimization of leakages of tourist income to the local economy. The role of government is huge in tourism because of their regulation impact in injecting or removing money, because public sector bodies involved in tourism for sake of society as a whole. While tourism can provide an economic rationale for protecting natural resources, it can also be a threat to their survival. In educating a society about sustainable tourism, experts have a crucial and key role. Experts can evaluate the adequacy of impact assessments of tourism submitted by project proponents. If the information of assessments is not up to standard, then maybe further studies may need to be undertaken. Local communities should be fully involved in local impact assessments. We should also take an advantage of traditional knowledge. Interaction between local government and expertise is important for forming such a team, something like destination management, which can productively develop plans and programs for achieving sustainable tourism. The relationship between sustainable tourism and technology is crucial. The influence should be enormous because the new technology based on green infrastructure could save many natural resources. That is why global trends of clean water, green buildings, sustainable waste management, for example, are also reflected in tourism. Technology development and waste play an underlying role in making the tourism sector more sustainable, and technology is focused on the sustainable use of water, zero waste, energy and food resources are those who are applying the principles of reuse and recycling plastic packaging waste. And there are only a few new technologies and solutions that this industry requires. Dubrovnik, as we all know, is a pearl of Adriatic, has a long tradition in tourism, his history, cultural heritage, gastronomy, and other beautiful attractions couldn't leave any visitors indifferent. But Dubrovnik also is facing with certain challenges during the high tourist season. It leaves many local people feeling that everything what is doing in tourism is to congestion and contribute little to the whole local economy. Another effect of mass tourism is substantial drop the number of people, local people, who are living in Old Town. Dubrovnik, as well other tourist destinations, was affected by COVID-19 pandemic. No one was immune on this situation. Many restaurants, hotels, and other tourist facilities did not even open their own business. Many employees lost their jobs. Traveling has stopped. Level of accommodation prices fell by 50%, and tourist inbound trend fell by 70% compared to 2019. Then, because of and due to this COVID-19 situation, the government has devised a support plan to help employees to retain own employees and to maintain their own business, but in short term. In addition to recover of pandemic and instead of limiting the number of visitors during the high season, the authorities of Dubrovnik are eager to promote and offer more eco-friendly options to all visitors who are willing and aware to protect a local environment. They encourage tourists to meet their needs, and some other places more nearby attractions such as agritourism, because agritourism allows all visitors to explore real local farm activities on the first hand. It's very important, on the first hand, and to involve themselves in daily lives of local people without any damaging impact on local environment. It helps to bring more closer all visitors to the nature, and then including to appreciate where they are and what could be lost if we as a society, whole society, we do not wholly embrace sustainable tourism. Moreover, slogan for Dubrovnik is a city for all seasons. It provides a good indication of the direction that Dubrovnik wants to go. and demonstrates the city's primary focus on prolonging the tourist season. And the aim of that is to protect and to preserve the city cultural and historical heritage, to allow all tourists to explore Dubrovnik, but properly all year long. If Dubrovnik becomes the city for all season, it will no doubt bring more money, more permanent jobs to the city. But there is much more to be done before, of course, before this vision can be realized. But those visitors who are interested in ecotourism, in agritourism, will find plenty of opportunities in nearby location of Dubrovnik to immerse themselves in the local rural economy. It really doesn't get much better than Dubrovnik. Dubrovnik has so much to offer, and it would be a tragedy if uncontrolled and irresponsible tourism destroy it. All we need are people who are environmentally aware and willing to enjoy themselves while realizing they have a responsibility in preserving what Dubrovnik wants to offer. People who will embrace sustainable tourism in all its forms and help preserve Dubrovnik's unique heritage. Finally, nowadays, it's crucial to seize and implement the new EU financial tools. There is a need to evaluate projects that would contribute to the local community and sustainable tourism, such as Green New Deal, the LIFE, European Bauhaus, incoming Interreg, Next Generation EU. But although there is no sustainable tourism without each individual starting from himself and awareness of his behavior. Thank you. Be sustainable.
Thank you, Marino. So we have come to the conclusion of our today's event. I would like to thank you all for your attention and invite you to join us to lunch in the next room. That will be followed by an interesting tour, the thematic APPRODI PLUS tour in Dubrovnik that I'm sure you will enjoy very much. And for our online viewers, I hope you'll enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you very much.